everyone, it's Steph. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm happy to have you here. Today I'm going to be chatting about some of my favorite podcasts that I've been listening to recently. I'd love to hear more recommendations of your favorite podcasts, especially anything that's fun and upbeat and bookish or non-bookish. I'm listening to a little bit of a few different things. So before you get started, if you like this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this from me, and thank you so much for watching. So first off, I started listening to a podcast earlier this summer called Rare with Flair, which has been so fun. It's about two girls, Cassie and Casey. They both have a rare disease that impacts their vision, and it's really great to hear them talk about lots of things to do with disability or their experience going throughout the world, from things like accessibility and transportation and lots of fun fashion chats and Disney chats and movies. It's a bunch of everything, and it's really enjoyable and fun to listen to. So it's fun to hear them chat, and it feels like as I'm listening to this podcast and going about my day that I'm hanging out with two fun people who are just having very fun and humorous conversations. So definitely something I've really enjoyed listening to. The next podcast I've been listening to is by Carrot Top Paper Shop. I've talked about her channel. I've talked about her Etsy shop before on my channel. I love her products. They're so fun and so colorful and so upbeat, and as well as her Instagram page, which is super fun to follow as well. But I started listening to her podcast, which really is built off of this puff sleeves, Find Your Puff Sleeves challenge that is inspired by Anne of Green Gables wanting this dress during the first book of Anne of Green Gables, wanting this puff sleeves dress. This was her iconic idea of what the epitome of beauty would look like and how she would feel beautiful in a dress with puff sleeves. So that all comes about on her channel, and Jenny is the name of the shop owner, and Jenny talks on her podcast in more detail about finding clothes that make you feel your best self, your most vibrant self. This goes hand in hand, I think, a little bit with what Jen Fulweiler, who I've talked about before on my channel. She is a speaker and she's also a comedian, and she talks about finding a passion, something that drives you and makes you feel energized instead of depleted of energy. And Jenny, talking about the Puff Sleeves Challenge, really kind of goes off of the idea of if you're wearing something that you feel comfortable and confident in, then you can put your best foot forward. And she talks about the different color palettes and styles and things, and how they can best be suited to your body, no matter what type of body or what season it is. So it's really been interesting to hear her insight and her artistic color palette sort of framework. And she talks a lot about finding fashions and doing a little bit of work to find what works best for each body, and particularly personalized for what you want. So I really enjoy hearing her content, and it's been really enjoyable to listen to. She just came out with a new episode, which I need to check out, but I'm definitely really glad that I discovered her podcast. I've also been starting to listen to the Basically Bookish podcast. This is by Ashley and Abby, and they are so fun and entertaining, and it's fun to hear things like them talking about their bookish pet peeves or things that they enjoy reading about, themes they enjoy reading about. They have different discussions about different authors and with different authors, so that's really neat to kind of hear their insights, and they also have a great rapport with one another, so they're really fun to listen to. Of course, their content is book related, so it's very much relatable and interesting to hear them talk about books, physical books versus ebooks, and different things that make reading easier or ways to squeeze in more reading during the day. I really enjoy their content, and it's been fun to listen to their episodes. The next one I've been listening to is a brand new podcast. They only have a couple episodes out right now, but I'm really excited to check it out. It is called Between the Lines, and it is about 4 different authors who all sit down and chat about the writing experience. The first episode they have is just a short introduction, meeting all these different authors, and then the second book is about their writing process in terms of what inspires them to write and why they continue to write. So it's been really interesting to hear all their personality. They sound so distinct and different with their voices that it's easy to follow along and keep track of who's chatting, and it's really fun to hear how they have common experiences as well as their own diverse different experiences to bring them to the world of writing and books. So it's something I've really enjoyed listening to, and I'm excited to listen to more from that podcast. So that about wraps up this list. I know it's not a lengthy one. I did start listening to Novel Bound, which has been really, really popular on Instagram. I love to watch their reels. And I haven't listened to too much. A lot of it's about YA fantasy, some of which I've read and some of which I haven't. But I did listen to a really cool episode today about interviewing someone who works at an indie bookstore and what that employee goes through as she selects books for the bookstore, which is really cool to listen to, just to hear them talk a little bit about the publishing industry, bridging the gap between industry and readers. I haven't read all the books that they refer to on their podcast, so I kind of feel like I should read a little bit more YA fantasy, but they definitely have a great rapport, and it's fun to listen to them chat with one another as well, and they have some author interviews on their page as well. So I'm definitely glad that I'm kind of trying new things and broadening my horizons. When I'm not listening to a podcast, I'm usually listening to an audiobook. So kind of it's when I want to balance them out. Maybe once I want to take a break from listening to an audiobook, I kind of switch it up with a podcast or vice versa. So it's kind of nice to have a variety. And yeah, let me know if you have any favorite podcasts that you listen to, bookish or otherwise. And I will chat with you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day. Bye!